And I think and we talked about this before, I think this was last year, Candice, around like that side benefit of having something like Calendly is, well, it low key is also helping me grow my list because I have a question on there talking about, okay, just as a simple example, I appreciate you filling out this form. To thank you, I'd love to send you some value that you might find in your inbox. Is it okay to do that? Just as an example. And then if I do get that permission, it's boom, wow, you're growing my list. And that's not something that I thought about using that tool in that way. Like when I first started, that's like another kind of challenge it has of how do you ask someone to join your list in a way that feels right to them, but at the
Mm.
right point of that interaction, because you haven't met them yet. But if you've provided enough value, shown enough professionalism prior to the point of sending you the link, most of the time they're going to be okay with that.
I actually think that is one of the most genius pieces of marketing I have ever seen. And it like you said, your calendar is one of the highest converting channels because people go there because they want to talk to you. And if you get a permission to add them to your list, it works. I'm not gonna lie, I stole that tip from you last year, and it has been the main driver that's grown the candid mailing list.
Oh,
Just because I have so many events and so many meetings. It is how I do my business. I love the networking element of it. And so many people, they sign up. And if I ask them why, they're basically like, oh, I wanted to learn more before we got on a call
mm,
together. And it was so easy to learn more because you made it easy to just subscribe right there. That is really genius. And video so small.
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that. But to your point, that can't be understated because Candace, I don't even know if the folks at Calendly thought of using that tool in that way because you got to think about it. Depending on what that event type is that is in your Calendly account, you might have 5 questions that you're asking them to qualify them for why they're speaking with you. So in my example, if it's your equivalent, Candace, of a networking call, I'm asking like 3 different questions. I'm asking about like how they identify professionally, like solopreneur, side hustle, traditional employment, like what it is, and it's multiple choice. Obviously, it's already asking their name and email address. And I'm asking for, okay, is there a place I can review their website or their LinkedIn page? Like, how can I connect with them? And then at the end of that, like, that's when I ask about the email list. And I'm always trying to think about like a spicy way to ask that question so that it doesn't feel like super clinical. Like, you want to subscribe to my list because that probably is not gonna work on people and stuff these days, 'cause I don't think anyone is gonna wanna join a list for the sake of joining it. So you gotta think of something spicier than that or keep it conversational or light. But one way that you could do that is just if you have multiple questions on there, use it as almost like a thank you tool, like incentivizing them to say, "Thank you for giving me all this information. How about I send you my this 20-page guideline that I probably sell or something on my website, but you can get it for free just as an." So they're getting, it's like a lead magnet, and you've qualified them through their questionnaire. You're providing them with value right there in the moment, and then you're growing your list.
I've actually heard that called a reverse lead magnet, where someone gives you their details and only afterwards you go, you know what, here's a gift for you. And it really delivers that like initial punch of like taste of value immediately. And they feel like they didn't have to do anything for it. And it doesn't feel like a slimy upsell, which sometimes it can feel like.
Right. Yeah. Scrappy systems, man. Scrappy systems. And we'll get into more of all of this where I think it all ties together, like how my tools help and how I think they can work for our viewers and listeners and stuff as well, too.